for welcoming each other. And if you're a guest with us for the first time, in the pew in front of you there is a pocket with a card in it that says, "Welcome to Marsville Baptist." We'd love for you to fill that out, and the offering plate comes by in a little while. If you drop that in, that would be great, so we can make a contact with you. If you're a student, especially, your email is very helpful for us. And just to let you know, students, we are starting a volunteer email. Some of our students who even go to other churches and go home on the weekends have asked to be put on our volunteer email so they know about upcoming volunteer opportunities here at the church. And so we're asking you to do that. Put your email there, and if you want to write on that volunteer list, you can write that, and we'll add that. We'll add your name to the volunteer list. We do a lot of packing food and other things during the week, and it's so great if we can grab some folks who might be available for a couple hours right here in town that can do that. So if you're interested in that, please add that. A couple of things to tell you about on announcement-wise. One is notice your calendar if you're one of a deacon or a finance committee board member. We have some meetings coming up this afternoon for you all, so be sure to note that. Also, the sanctuary has been redone but not been dedicated. September 9th is the date that will happen. I just want you to get it on your calendar so you'll be aware. You'll be hearing in the next few weeks some things that will be happening with that dedication as it comes, but we want you to be sure and put that date as a special date on your calendar. And then one more announcement for this afternoon. A number of folks have started to make some interest in Cuba, going on a trip there possibly next spring with our sister church that's in Piedras. There is a group that has returned from a trip this summer, a youth group at Circle of Mercy in Asheville, returned from their trip, and Kim and Stan Dotson have also come back, and they will be doing a program this afternoon at 5 o'clock, a report on the Cuba trip that they've had. It's at what is the old Westminster Presbyterian. Some of you know that in Asheville. It's now the Land of Sky UCC Church. But if you're interested, let me know, and I can make sure you get there. That's at 5 today for that report to hear about what's happening currently with brothers and sisters in Cuba. Also, we will let you know that Sharon is away in Ireland. She is, I don't know if you pray for folks who are away when they're having that good a great a trip, but she'll be there for these next 2 Sundays, our associate pastor. So we'll miss her, but hopefully her and Bill will be having a great time over there together. I had the wearing of the green, I guess, in honor of her being away today in Ireland. But we're grateful for Danny for being here and standing in for us today. Thank you for helping with that. Wanda, you want me to announce for students? If you're a student and you're new here, one of the things we like to do is we're good at eating, just so you know. We fed the whole football team here just a couple of weeks ago. But if you're new, you're a student, if you'll meet in the vestibule after the service, the crowd will sort of go out and then hang out just a minute. Stay in here, it's air conditioned. For just a few moments, we will go to lunch together. We have a lunch group that goes every Sunday, and we will buy your lunch. I've got some good sponsors that help with that. So if you've already tired of eating at the cafeteria, it's only been a few days, but you will get tired of it. It just happens. Let us know. We love to have students go lunch with us on Sunday and learn about who you are, and it gives us a time to get to meet and connect with you. So hang out after church. We'd love to take you to lunch with us after church. We've gathered here, though, as the community of faith in Marsville to do that most important thing God calls us to do, and that's to worship God together. So may God bless us as we spend this time in worship.
Join me, please, in our call to worship. Come and listen to the words of life and love.
We here proclaim our faith in the one who brings life. Let us glorify the God of life, whose wisdom guides our lives.
To y'all for this year's Brazil missions has been a little while in coming. We've been back for a little over 3 weeks now, but we've all been busy, and it says the Brazil mission team on your bulletin, but Wally, David, Thomas, and James, and the rest of his family all at Chapel Hill, moving 2 of their children, including Thomas, in for the start of year of college. So they couldn't be with us, but they wanted me to extend their appreciation to you, the church, for your support of missions. James himself has been on a summer of missions, as well as this church as a whole. It's been an amazing year for missions and a blessed year here at Mars Hill Baptist Church. Through Vacation Bible School, Washington, D.C., Chicago, Passport, Brazil, and many others. As I look around, I can't see anybody that I could think that hasn't been involved in some way or other in missions this summer. As far as Brazil goes, we left on July the 17th in the morning. 31 hours later, we arrived at our destination, which turned out to be an average hotel in a frontier town called Taquaru. It was sundown, and it was starting to get dark. It's wintertime there, so the sun sets at basically 5 o'clock. The first thing we were told, as we were very tired, so slowly getting off the bus, lining up to get our bags from underneath the bus, we were told that there was a 200 square mile complete electrical blackout. And Takaru was right in the middle of that 200 square mile. When it gets dark in Brazil, it gets dark quick. And it's dark. So we were able to get our bags before it got dark. But we found our way to our rooms in darkness. In total darkness. Finally, I don't know who thought of it first, but you started seeing one or two, and then a whole lot of cell phones with flashlights. This was very disappointing and discouraging to me. As many times as I've been to Brazil, my first thought is, how are we going to build a building with no electricity? Next thing we were told is we would be eating all of our evening meals at the mother church, which I had been part of the team in 2006 to build their church building, their initial church building. I arrived at it in total darkness to find that the size of the original church was still there, still where they hold worship services. It had been renovated with new windows, air conditioning, and so forth. But the size of that church was over probably 3 or 4 times the size that I left it in 2006. And alive with the Lord's image, mission image. I started hearing about, while we were having a candlelight dinner, I started hearing about how they were involved in this Ascendimento that we were going to. And I started getting refreshed again, feeling a little better, because the name of this area was called, or was reported to be Agua Viva, which I was involved many years ago in another Baptist church built in Corumbá. And the name of that church was Agua Viva, which translates living water. Or the Pastor Samuel there said it was water life. So, but it translates into living water. So that was encouraging to be a part of another living water, which is special to me with the first one that I was involved in. We finished our meal. We was told at the end of it by Pastor Samuel that what little reports he had heard, they didn't know if when the power would be coming back on. It could be that night, or it could be after we left to come back to America. So that was a little discouraging. Much prayer was going on. They were already praying for the power to come back on a day or two before we arrived, because they had been without it. As we headed back in the bus to the hotel, all of a sudden we started seeing a little bit of light. It wasn't like our fandeliers. It was sort of like these sconces, I think that's what Jerry calls them. That was where the street lights were starting to come back on. So the power came back on. The next morning we arrived at the church. It took 45 minutes to get out to the Ascendimento, where the church building was going to be built. We arrived around 8 o'clock, had a devotional, sort of got our act together. By 8:30, we was working, laying block mostly, getting ready with the mud and so forth. It always has taken at least 2 days to lay all the block or the brick for a building. It's 35 foot wide by 65 foot long and about 18 foot high on the walls. Usually takes a minimum of 2 days. By 2:30 that day we were finished. And that's when I began to think, sort of like my theme for this trip, from what I'd already witnessed And then witnessing that, 4 of us from our church that went were witness to this, and we began talking about it. We always hear and we always say that with God all things are possible. But I started focusing on not hearing it or saying it, but knowing it. It's much different. I hope everyone here has experienced knowing that with God all things are possible. Not just hearing. Usually it takes us, the record, I guess if you have one, is about 4 days to finish, completely finish the building. We were basically finished in 2 days. And we started pickling. We didn't have nothing to do. Now the part that I'll get to, I always report that going to Brazil is not like going on vacation. Well, some of the groups started talking about what can we do. There's nothing to do in this frontier town. If you can imagine Mars Hill when you had a small country store, for those of you that might remember, and the county country, what's it called at 23? The country market store. There was 3 of those in this little frontier town. So there was nothing to do. We visited all of those stores several times. But somebody wanted to know how far it was to one of the 7 wonders of the world, natural wonders of the world. Iguazu Falls. I always forgot the name of it. If you've ever heard of it. If you've ever been there, you're fortunate. Some report that it makes Niagara Falls seem to be a mud hole. I wouldn't say that. I've seen both. Both of them are wonderful falls. But Iguazu Falls is much, 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 much larger than Niagara Falls, and water's everywhere. Somebody looked it up on Google and they said 3 hours to get there. And Walter Ponder, our leader with the ministry, said, well, maybe this is possible. We'll look into it. The bus driver told him, no, it's not 3 hours, it's at least 5. Still thought we might do it. Well, we did do it, and it took 7 hours. We got up at 3:30 on Tuesday morning. Okay, Saturday we went out to the work site and basically pedaled. Done touch-up paint. Those surfaces on the church building that's probably been painted by me 20 or more times. Just touch-up paint. We finished sidewalks everywhere. We cleaned it was clean as the carpet is in this church, the yard. The outhouse, which is the bathroom facilities for a church in the middle of nowhere, Brazil. It's like our old outhouses, if any of you remember that. We finished it. We stuccoed it, we painted it, we put tile on the floor in the bathroom. We run out of things to do. Monday we went home and pedaled some more. Tuesday we got up at 3:30 in the morning. This is 1 week after the day we left the USA. We're completely finished. We get up at 3:30 in the morning. We're on the bus, no breakfast. We're on the bus at 4, and we head out to Iguazu Falls. So 7 hours later, we start working our way into the falls. And we stayed there about 3 hours. Had lunch there, first meal of the day, a late lunch. After everybody had looked at the falls. If you see the falls, it's like a lot of things. You don't want to just stay there for a week unless you're a National Geographic photographer. But it was very impressive. it happened to be, I had been there before, I was the only one on the team. I had been there in 2000, I think it was, or 2001. And then we started our 7-hour trip back. We pulled into the hotel at 11 o'clock that evening. The next day, all we did was pedal and pack our bags and got ready to come home. And at 6:30, well, about 4:30, we went out to the church to get ready for the dedication service, which, as I've reported before, like many dedication services in Brazil, I hope on September the 9th, our dedication service for the renovation here is as alive and impressive as our dedication service was in the middle of nowhere in Agua Viva, Brazil. So y'all pretty much heard the timeline of the whole trip. We all have pictures, all 4 of us. Anybody want to see them, get with me. I can show you on the cell phone. We've had plans. We've all been so busy. I think there might be a few that's made its way to our church website. But if not, we still plan on getting some of those pictures deposited to the church website in some form or fashion. So I thank y'all for your support. Y'all been supporting me in prayer and in some monetary things with our fish fry fundraiser events and various other things since 1992. There's been numerous of us over all those years that have been to Brazil. Some are not with us anymore. So I ask for your continued prayers and support of the Brazil mission and all of our missions. We've got a busy summer. It's not over, but school's starting, so I guess it's over. Summer's over. So I'll thank you for extra amount of time, and I'll turn it over to you for another mission.
Thank you, that's right. Thank you, Glenn, for sharing that and for continuing that partnership in Brazil. We have a lot of educators in this church. We have a lot of folks that have dedicated their career to education, a lot that just do it because they love it and know that's what their calling is. And I do feel it is a calling, education. And what happens in the public schools, probably more than ever, maybe the biggest mission field, as Glenn alluded to, that we have. A number of you teach or work in the school system, work through the university system as well. And we like to have a time when we commission what you do as truly a calling for that. So if you'll look in your order of worship, you'll see there a commissioning of the educators that are here. And I mean that as well for our educators in the church. We have a number of you who teach regularly, and we're grateful for that gift. So we don't just exclude it to public school education, private school education, university education, our Christian education as disciples, all of that. So join me, if you will, in our reading of our commissioning of teachers and students. At the beginning of this new school year, do you who are teachers offer your gifts and talents of education and genuine caring to those whom you will teach in this school year? Students, pay attention, students. Will you seek to pursue knowledge and wisdom with a cheerful attitude and with courage and patience in this school year? Will you as a congregation support and uphold these educators and students through their prayers and through your prayers and encouragement? Let us pray. Divine Teacher, at the beginning of this new school year, we thank you for blessing us with the ability to learn and providing schools and teachers so our children will have the opportunity to reach new levels of understanding and knowledge. You've given these educators a special gift of grace and understanding for their teaching. Thank you for calling our teachers into their profession. Help them to receive the joy from their work. Reward them by seeing the steady progress made by their students. Give our teachers calm strength, patient wisdom, clear vision, to teach their subject matter with compassion. Be with these students as well as they begin a new school year. Help them as they transition into new schedules, meet new friends, do homework, and make time for learning and fun. Help our parents as well to create a home atmosphere where children have the love and encouragement they need, and help them to teach their children how to consistently live out the moral and faith values learned at home and here among our church family. Bless all our schools, colleges, and universities, that they may be lively centers of sound learning, and grant that those who teach and those who learn may find you to be the source of all truth. Bless those who teach in our Sunday school classrooms as well, and help our teachers to share your wisdom, your love, and your forgiveness, and especially your grace as they teach your word. Thank you for the promise and excitement that comes with the new school year, oh God. Thank you for making all things new and for giving us fresh starts in life. We pray that the Holy Spirit will guide and strengthen each of us in our individual vocations and in our service to you and others. May your love and grace fill our students, teachers, and parents. All this we ask in your holy name. Amen. If you'll turn on the back of your order, you'll see listed there a number of our prayer concerns besides starting this new school year. We also have mission partnerships, as Glenn alluded to. The one that we have focused this week is our Ellis Avenue Church in Chicago, the one that our group returned from just as Glenn's group. We left together just as his group was returning, or just in that similar time frame, just a couple of weeks ago. And they send their greetings and continue to be praying for us as we do for them. You see as well many folks that are on our cancer list that are dealing with cancer treatments, others living with cancers. Bill Welch will be starting cancer treatment after he returns. Also, you see some others there that we've added to our list. Joanne Foster will be remembering she's having tests following her surgery. And also Bethany White called this week and asked that we add Faith Ash will be having breast cancer surgery tomorrow. So she asked if we would add Faith, a friend of hers from work, onto our list. Also, you see there some condolences. Kendra Airwood's uncle and his service. Kendra's tomorrow, I think. Is that right? So we remember Kendra as they have that time tomorrow afternoon to service. And I had a cousin, my first cousin, Alice, who passed away this week, and I'll be doing a service for her next Saturday over in Henderson County. So we'll be remembering our family as we had a death of a cousin. Also, I bring to you a celebration. We have, yesterday, we prayed for a year and a half about Drew Yost's headaches and his ongoing work with that during his senior year in high school and a year off between high school and college. And yesterday, his family moved him into UNC Charlotte. So, a true blessing there that we add to our list of things that we celebrate here. So, prayer does work. It's not always in the time frame that we would always like it to, but it does. It does. I'm sure there are other things on your heart and mind this morning, maybe things of a personal nature, something that's come up as we've talked about missions and other things. I invite you, if you would, to bring before God those things in prayer as we have a moment of silence, and then I will lead us in prayer together. Let us pray. Well, God, this time of year brings to mind transition. Returning from missions and other things from summer, vacations and times away. getting ready for a new year to start and for a whole new school or class or university. We know things change. That's the thing we are sure of. But the most important thing we're sure of is that you do not. That you're always there for us, a constant presence for us as we go through these times of change. Help us to remember that. Help us to remember to hold fast to you when it seems that everything around us is moving or shifting. We've brought before you, oh God, this morning many things that are on our hearts. People we're sharing with, celebrations in our lives, sadnesses of our grief. All that we bring before you, knowing that you are truly the God of hope, the God of healing, the one who brings new life to us. So we thank you for that this day and pray that we might be faithful as your people in this world, sharing that good news that's come to each of us. Help us that we might share it in your world each day everywhere we go. We ask this in the name of Jesus Christ, our Lord. It's in his name that we pray. Amen. Today, instead of regular children's moment, we're having our backpack blessing. We usually have our children on here. And some backpacks are already here on the table. Put those out as a note of 25 or 30 more that are here at the church, that if any teachers or school people know, or anyone needs a backpack, please take them. Probably about 25 of the 35 are pink. One of my favorite colors. My senior picture in high school, I wore a pink shirt. So it doesn't have to be a girl, but some of them, a lot of them are Hello Kitty, which is fine as well. But we have this whole set of backpacks. We brought these. We're going to bless them as well, but I want children and teachers to cut. If you have your backpack, bring your backpack up. We'll put them here on the altar, and then we'll have a blessing of those. So children, if you'll come down. If you didn't bring your backpack, it's okay as well. Let's gather up here and put our hands on them. Can y'all stand up here with me and see where you can just touch them with your hands? Everybody get in here and reach in and touch. You can come around back here with me. Somebody can come back here with me. Miles, want to come here? Somebody want to come back here where you can stand and touch? Good. Moses had a time in his life when he was called by God to go do something, and God took his staff. That's what he carried every day. He was a shepherd, and he took his staff and he blessed it. And when he blessed it, he said, I want you to remember when you see that staff that I'm with you, that I'm there for you, and that I'll be present with you. That's what we do when we bless these backpacks. We want you to remember that God is with you always. And so when you slide your backpack on in the morning, you remember that. When you take it off and hang it at school, you remember that. And when you go home during the afternoon on the bus or however you go, remember that. It's like your staff that God has blessed. His presence is with you all the time. Can you remember that? We have a part of our service that's here in your service, an insert. If you would join me as we read together our backpack blessing. Lord, you brought us to the start of a new school year.
And so we bring these backpacks and our worship to you.
Just as you instructed your disciples to carry your word and love to the nations.
Bless these children as they carry these backpacks on the journey, filled with the tools they need to learn more about your world and work.
Just as you were God's gift of immense love to bring salvation to fill the world.
May the contents of these backpacks fulfill and nourish the minds of these faithful young disciples, so that they may be an abundant blessing of your love to others.
Just as these backpacks will be carried by these students whenever they go to school.
Go with them when they enter classes to share and be with them in the classroom, the hallways, the cafeteria, and the playground, that they
backpacks are opened at the start of each day. When these backpacks are closed, in all these things, Lord, let these backpacks and those who carry them be beacons of your eternal love.